Hey, Justin, I was just thinking that there's no better way to advertise that hashtag WrestlePals is moving to 10 p.m. every Monday on Radio Free Radio, radiofradio.com, than to cut our own wrestling-style promo. Do it.
Monday nights at 10 p.m. Hashtag WrestlePals take the airwaves. And they're going to talk wrestling with you. If you want to call in, you can call 757-848-5920. Can you feel that? Feel the WrestlePals power coursing through your veins! Ah!
I think you just had an aneurysm. That's hashtag WrestlePals every Monday, 10 p.m., Radio Free Radio, radiofradio.com.
Did you know that Radio Free Radio has over 100 videos on their YouTube channel? It's true. Check it out. Go to YouTube and type Radio Free Radio, all one word, into the search bar and click subscribe.
It's Deprogrammed. My name is Justin Wilson, and I'm feeling ill today. It's no excuse for me to walk away from my own program. I'm here. And thankfully for me, it's a Please Explain episode. We're going to be talking about Dave Matthews Band today. And I have some guests who are super excited about it. And I'll introduce you to them in a second. Here's the lame stuff. I'm looking at you, camera. You, right there. You're so close to me now. It's so weird. Patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. You go to that, and you give $1, and suddenly you're part of this whole madness. You get to be crazy like me and Matt. And it's a lot of fun. Actually, there's a lot of stuff coming up. We've been talking about doing like the events for our patrons here at the Studio Clubhouse, like some comedy nights and whatnots. Yeah, you'll get the automatic invite. That sounds fun, no? Also, our Undying Love. That's a pretty big thing. And there's still some content that was just so far back that I didn't change it from $1 to free. I only got so many hours in a day. I can't get to them all. I'm sorry. So we're talking Dave Matthews Band today. I'm joined in studio by James Clark. James, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
You're here. You were, I think, the first person that jumped on when I said, anybody want to do Dave Matthews?
Dude, literally, as soon as you sent that out, I was like, yes, please. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, and we're going to be joined by Dave. I can't believe I just called my friend Dave. His name is Dan. I'm having a shit night.
God, Justin, what are you doing?
I'm having a shit night. It's just I don't feel well, and
that's okay.
When you feel bad, and it just
I can get you a tissue.
No, what I need is sleep.
Yeah, I hear that.
And hopefully that'll happen
The
tonight.
fuck is sleep?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But so we're talking Dave Matthews. I'll tell you this. It's a Please Explain episode, and that usually means it's a band that, either caught my ear at one point. I'm aware of them.
Yes.
I'm aware of the band. I just never got into them.
Okay.
Or I was into them at one point and just didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's not, oh man, they suck. It's just, I don't get it. Somebody's got to explain why this band is cool. So let's start here because Dan was hammering on this, the live show.
Yes.
Have you seen Dave Matthews live?
I have seen him live twice.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So talk about the experience.
It was when I was younger, because that's kind of when I got into Dave Matthews was around my tween years, just because that's what my mom played in the car a lot.
Right.
But it's one of those things is going to his show, it's always an experience. He's always some level of drunk whenever he plays. So that I think
he doesn't strike me as a drunk. He strikes me as a
straight
guy.
up, dude, straight up drunk.
Oh, nice.
And anytime that you go to a show, there's always someone who's got weed.
Of course.
You can always smell the cloud.
Right.
But it's more about it's one of those bands that you listen to it on a CD or on a track or however you're consuming audio. It's great. If you love it, you love it.
Right.
But when you get into a live experience, you actually feel the music. He is one of the few musicians that I've been to their show and actually felt emotionally moved by the music, just because the musicianship of the band is phenomenal. They're all excellent musicians. And then also it's just a different atmosphere because he fits into so many genres, because more than half of the band are black guys that play random instruments that you don't expect black guys to be playing. His drummer, his saxophonist, just there's because when I was younger, I didn't know that they were not an all-white band. So that was an intriguing point to me when I was younger too, was, oh wow, black musicians.
They were played pretty heavily on alt radio.
So
you would probably might assume. I could see where somebody might assume that.
Mm-hmm. And it's just an experience in and of itself of being there. He's loud, he's vocal, he's up with his crowd. They have songs that push the pace. They have songs that slow it down. They have straight up jam sessions.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to a concert, you're guaranteed at least 2 jam sessions a night of just them just kicking it just because they can. And a lot of their music actually lends to those jam sessions as well, because if you look at songs like Warehouse, that's a almost 8-minute track. Another one, something with monkeys in it. I forgot. I saw it. I can't remember, but it's like a 9-minute track. They've got tracks on their records that just lend to, hey, we're gonna play some music. Here you go.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's almost, you get that local bar feel, even if you're in a large venue. Because I've seen him at Intelos and I've seen him at the Amphitheater in Virginia Beach.
Right.
Both of those. Intelos is 10,000 people.
Yeah, it's reasonably sized.
Virginia Beach is more 20,000. Intelos might not even be that big, but it's still. It's just, you feel as if you're there.
Yeah.
With him on the stage every single time that you go see him. So to me, it again, just as Dan was saying,
it's all about the live show.
It's all about the live show.
So speaking of Dan Plummer on the line, and it's been a long time since I actually called you Dan. Usually I just call you Plummer. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard you call me Dan.
Well, I'm just being a little formal here with the radio show, but dude.
No, I figured.
Dude, how are you?
Excellent, man.
Thanks for
How's everything down there?
Well, when you decide to start a radio station, it kind of consumes your life. So,
I figured, and that's always good. That's always good news, though.
Yeah, I mean, busting my ass. That's pretty much what I do. So that's what we're doing here. But today we're here to talk about Dave Matthews, and you jumped in late, but I've known this about you. You're a Dave Matthews guy. And
definitely.
We've never had the discussion, but I've never been a Dave Matthews guy. And James was just talking about the live show, and you kept hammering the point. I put together a little message to try to figure out, what we wanted to include in the conversation. And you said, make sure you grab these songs live. It's important. It's key. So how many times, firstly, have you seen Dave Matthews?
I mean, I haven't seen him that many times. I mean, probably the most artist I've ever seen is Dave Matthews, and it's probably 4 times.
Oh.
PNC Bank Amphitheater in New Jersey. I saw him in State College, and I saw him twice at the Hershey Amphitheater, Hershey Park.
Nice.
And the best show I ever saw him at was definitely Hershey Park. And it's funny because in high school, I never saw him at a live show. All you hear is, at the time, all you heard him on was MTV or the CDs that you go and buy. And whenever you buy it or you listen to it on MTV, you're like, okay. it's an interesting artist, but I never really got into it. The first show I saw him at was the Hershey Park Amphitheater live. I don't know what year that was, probably between '01 and '04. But once you see him live, or, like he was saying, the jam sessions, you get at least 4 jam sessions where on the CD, that song might be 3.5 minutes, but he'll turn it into a 20-minute jam session where it just feels so real, and you're like, wow, that was incredible. And, that's kind of how I really got into Dave Matthews Band.
So going into a Dave Matthews show, you have to be open to a jam band, firstly.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, because whenever I went into it, I didn't know what to expect, and I was not really into jam bands or jam sessions, so to speak, whenever I went to my first DMB concert. And once you go to one, like, wow, that was incredible. You kind of look for other artists that are, might do that, or you want to go back. And honestly, DMB is the only artist I've ever seen, 3 and 4 times because of the jam sessions, and he really brings the music alive in the live setting versus, okay, we're in the studio, let's play the song, here it is. So whenever I go to Jukebox, go to DMB, I've never picked just the studio song. I always look for live at Central Park, live at Red Rocks Theater, wherever it's at, I always pick it live so you really get to hear what I have to say. Still might be a 4-minute song, but it's going to be so much better than the studio version.
Spotify actually has, it took me forever to find his studio recordings.
Yeah.
Spotify, his Spotify page is bogged down with, God knows how many live records, which, I mean, it ends up better for this discussion, especially both of you guys are leaning towards, man, it's all about that live show.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this, before we really jump, I didn't get to do my homework. This is a please explain, so it's okay that I didn't. This is more on you guys. But the good thing for you guys, that means I have no veto power this week. Because I didn't get to do my homework. I'm not going to be familiar with all these songs. I will also tell you this before we just start jumping into it. There are 2 songs that each of you picked that I actually like. There are 2 Dave Matthews songs that, if anybody ever asks, these 2 songs I like, and each of you picked one.
Sweet.
So, if you can figure out which ones they are and play those, I will absolutely pass them through to the 10. Again, the idea of the conversation is to come out with a top 10 Dave Matthews Band list that you give to somebody that has never listened to this band before.
Okay.
So hopefully it's a starter kit for Dave Matthews Band. That's the best way to put it. Do you guys have your lists in front of you?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I do.
So the rules are, there really are no rules other than, like I said, this is a please explain. And I've already explained my role in this conversation. I will add to what I can. So each of you is going to play a song. Which, by the way, I think you guys had, between your 2 lists, 5 songs that is on both of your lists. I think James had a couple that were studios, and Dan had a couple that were live.
Yeah.
But, so, I don't know, it might be a smart play, because then you guys can overpower me, because I've never heard it. So, I'm just saying, just a little gamesmanship there. And I guess that's really the extent of the rules with the please explain. The only other one I did was I did Hanson with my wife, and,
right? And
she was the only one. So, and I'm familiar with all their stuff, so I could go, no, I don't like that song. Get that one out of here. that was a lot of fun.
That just makes me giggle that you're familiar with Hanson,
dude. Well, okay, so I've been with my wife since '02, and we got married in '05. So. Dude,
you're making me feel old.
I've listened
or young,
to a lot of Hanson.
Bop.
Never on purpose. Actually, she rarely listens to that record.
Thank God.
So I've heard Mbop, but it's rare. It's rare that one comes out. Okay, so I guess let's hop on in. If you're listening at home, play along. Why not? It'll be fun. James, you're in studio, so why don't you toss out a song and see where we can get here?
Where do we usually start off the top, or do we usually kind of swing in the middle of maybe?
It's wherever you think. See, your goal is going to be to try to get Dan on the same page with you.
Yeah.
So you guys can overpower me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. So.
And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'd even put them in order. Like they're
That's
all
fine.
pretty great.
Yeah, I kind of put mine in order because mine's a lot of studio stuff because I had all of his early albums. So Under the Table and Dreaming, Every Day, Crash, and Busted Stuff. Those were the main four that I rolled through. A lot of his newer stuff I haven't really kept up with. So mine's much more old Dave Matthews when they first started out. I'm going to go with Jimmy Thing from Under the Table and Dreaming.
Jimmy Thing. Dan, what do you think?
Go for it.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slide it over into this other category, and we'll see how many we have that you guys have agreed on.
Did you have that on your list, Dan?
He didn't.
It was not on my list.
Okay.
All right.
Now, if you're going to play the studio version, honestly, I don't really know what the studio and CD version sounds like. That's how long it's been since I've listened to the CD. I always listen to it live. So some of the songs I might pick, may not be as well represented on the CD pick versus the live pick. So
here's
any song that I'm going to pick is going to be the live version versus the studio version.
So here's what I did with your list. Like I said, they had so many live Dave Matthews Band records. I actually went ahead and picked all live versions, and including the songs that crossed over, because Dan picked a live version. James picked a studio version. To me, it's one and the same. So like if you play one of the songs, it's the same as Dan playing the studio one or the live one, and then we'll decide which one should be on the actual list.
Okay.
Okay. So with that being said, Dan, it is your turn to play.
I guess on my top 12 list I gave you, I would say the number one song is actually my number one song. So All Along the Watchtower.
Oh.
I didn't have that, but I do know of that one, and that is just an amazing rendition of that song.
Like the version that I always pick and listen to, it's probably a 10 to 15 minute song.
Yep.
But obviously we won't need to listen to all of it to get the feel for it. But I would say all around that's probably the actual number one song. The rest is pretty close to being tied.
Okay, so let me ask you this before putting this in the conversation. Do you think this, because it's somebody else's song, do you think putting through somebody else's song that they're playing really well is a good, accurate description of what Dave Matthews Band is?
This day and age, I feel like everyone thinks they have their own original song. They're making it original for them. And I'm not saying, everyone copies someone else's band from, 20, 30 years ago, but I think it's a great, pick for Dave Matthews. I would say, yeah. If you're going to get into Dave Matthews, you're either going to get into him or you're not.
Yeah.
Whether he covers somebody or not, it doesn't matter.
That song really epitomizes what Dave Matthews Band is all about, because it has, it's a song that everybody knows. It's a Jimi Hendrix song.
Well, Bob
Right.
Dylan, actually.
Bob Dylan, yes, but everybody knows it more
Jimi
for
Hendrix,
Jimi
yeah.
Hendrix. But he, the fact that he can play that song, he can take it, make it his own, but also give you all of the musicianship. That's going to be my word of the night, is musicianship.
I can do it.
I agree with that without a doubt. It's all about the musicianship here.
Yep.
Every artist makes his song his own, regardless of someone played it 20, 40, 60 years ago. They're going to make it to what they want it to be. and he was given the rights to. So
Yep.
I stick to that.
I would even be willing to trade that out with one of my top 10 personally.
Okay, so we'll see what we get.
We'll get there. Yeah,
What we
I'll be
come
okay
down
with
to.
that going into the top 10 list.
All right, so at this point, it is your turn to play another song. James.
Mine. My favorite song by Dave Matthews. I'm gonna go to the top of my list. Grace is Gone. That one for me, because that one actually, if you look at all the different interviews and stuff he's done about it, that one's actually about the death of his father.
Oh.
And it's a very personal song to begin with, but then you start to listen to the lyrics in his live version, because there is a version on YouTube of him doing this song, just an acoustic version of this song, just him on the stage with his guitar, and you feel every single word.
Oh.
And that to me is a song that just right at the top of the list.
Now I know Grace is Gone wasn't on your list, Dan, but is that something you're willing to budge on, or?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. We can put it on. I'm not as familiar with that, and it's I wouldn't put it in my top 10. But if it's in someone else's top 10 and they love Dave Matthews Band as much as I do, I mean I'm not gonna say no. So I would say yeah, definitely put it up there.
All right, so we'll keep it around for later. All right, Dan, it is your play.
I'm gonna go with Crush.
You know what? Crush is one of my songs, one of the two.
I don't have it on mine.
Are you willing to budge on it, though?
I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know.
Oh. I think I'm going to move this into the conversation for later,
Okay.
because I love that song.
Okay.
And I was looking at...
I love that song, and I actually think, I kind of remade my top 12 list here, just kind of put it in order, and it's probably my number 3 song on there.
It was a single, which I can't remember which record it was on, but the video is like Dave in a bar, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the live version, but I looked at it, and I want to say if it's radio, then it's probably a 3.5 minute song, ish. The live version was something like 10.5, maybe even 15. I saw 2 or 3 different versions, so that means they really jammed it out.
Oh yeah.
And there's like a nice horn arrangement to it. It's really chill, really laid back. That's one of my 2 that I knew going in. I like this song, so I'm cool with having that in the combo for later. Because when we get to that point, if there's songs that one of you guys isn't as familiar with, we can play a club. So
Okay.
all right, that brings it to James.
Another personal favorite for me, because this one actually harkens back to when my mom and I used to actually get along when we drove around before I turned into an angsty teenager. What would you say? That one with the Mom, It's My Birthday, which would you say? Oh, just every time we crack up because it's about, that particular line is about a parent forgetting their kid's birthday.
Oh.
And we always played that song like around my birthday. I remember specifically when right before I turned 12, we were listening to that song right before my birthday. And we cracked up about it because my mom and I, again, before I turned into an angsty teenager, we had really stupid inside jokes before inside jokes was made a term.
Right.
So that one for me, what would you say is a great, great one?
Dan? I can't remember.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great song.
Was it on? I can't remember. Was it on your list?
No, but it's a great song. I mean, like I said,
Was that his?
you could probably make a top 30 list.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that with most artists every week.
Keep probably agreeing.
Don't be afraid to not to, because we only get 10. Now, what would you say? Was that the breakout, or was there one before it? What would you say? I feel like that was the breakout hit.
Hold on, No, I think their breakout was God, where'd it go? It was something from Under the Table and Dreaming. I know that much.
Oh.
Yeah,
It was either Satellite or Ants Marching.
Oh, yeah. I think it was.
I want to say it could be. I want to say it could be Ants Marching. I want to say it's probably Ants Marching, but I don't know.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do.
Check out his Wikipedia, it'll tell you. I was reading that earlier the other day just to kind of catch up on my DMB history.
All right, Plumber, it is your play, sir.
Gray Street.
I do not have that one.
Are you familiar with it?
You would recognize it. I'm sure you would.
Probably would. What album was it from?
Oh, man, I couldn't tell you the albums. I mean, again, I listen to everything live, so I almost have no idea what albums they are.
Okay.
Let's see, because I pulled...
If you guys could play it, or if you played it, you would know it probably within the first 10 seconds.
Let's see. Grace.
I love that song.
Here, hold on 1 second.
If I could play it on my phone right now, I would, but I can't do both.
Hold on.
Yep. That is a badass jam. Badass jam. See, again, I think that's on one of his later albums. I think that's like 2003 on.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move. We haven't gotten one all the way through to the 10 yet, but we've got a decent little list building.
Yeah.
Nothing's been stricken from the convo yet either. Nobody's taken that hard line on anything.
Well, because I've seen, because I've been looking at Dan's list back and forth, and there's going to be 5 or 6 that jump over to automatic in the list, so.
All right. James, it is your play, sir.
Crash Into Me, just because of the romanticism of that song, because of just how dirty it is.
I got
also,
your skirt a little more.
Right?
Show your world to me.
Hey now. Cheers to you, Corey. There's actually a funny story. Again, back to my mother is the main reason that I'm doing the show, because she made me listen to this so much. Thanks, Mom. She's actually listening tonight, so that's pretty cool. As far
Mom.
as I know. But she had a friend who was in a band, and she was the lead singer of the band.
Oh.
And this was probably 8-9 years ago, and apparently she was doing a cover of that song. And there was this one drunk dumbass in the front who was just holding up a Bud Light screaming every word. And apparently that drunk dumbass was her boyfriend.
Oh, good times.
And embarrassed the shit out of her in front of 200 people and her bandmates.
That's great.
So yeah, that song with the added funny connotation. It's a dirty song, but it's a sexy love song, and it's typical Dave. For when it comes into that kind of stuff.
Now, Crash Into Me was the other song. I had Crush.
Oh,
Crash
yeah,
Into
Crush
Me.
and Crash.
Dan, how do you feel about Crash Into Me?
I mean, it came on number 15 for me, but, I'll take it. I mean, it's
Oh, so if you would have expanded out from 12 to 15, you would have had it?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm putting that one on through.
Yeah.
Because that's the first one that all three of us agree on.
There we go.
So
when did that come out? Like 96?
That
was probably in there.
That is 96. That's on the Crash album.
Man, good guess.
So that is 20 years old.
By what grade I was in. I remember I was in 10th grade.
I'm not there yet, so I don't. Unless it's Good Charlotte, then it's, oh God, that was 8th grade.
All right, Plumber, it is your turn, sir.
How many we got so far anyway?
All right, so there's one in the top 10. One, Crash Into Me. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 still in the conversation.
Okay. Let's go with maybe, how about Don't Drink the Water?
Don't drink the water.
That's a no for me.
Oh.
That one, I actually just can't get into that one, because that's kind of where I draw the line with Dave, is where he gets into the real sounds. I appreciate.
That's who he is.
I know, but I appreciate I don't know. I just appreciate the softer side of DMB so much more.
Now I'll say this: that was a single off of whatever record, and I hated that song.
Most people did.
This would have been something that I probably could have benefited from listening to the live version from. But as of right now, I'm with James. Let's put that one out. It's out. Man, we got to get some of these out.
Back. Ah!
All right, James.
Thanks, Chris Berman.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. Where are you going from Busted Stuff?
I think Dan has that one. The
I do
live version
too.
of that.
He does.
Yeah.
All right, you guys can overpower me if you think it needs to be in the 10.
Where are you going?
I mean, I like this song. It's in my top 10.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys both
Same. It's top 10 for me, so I think we're overpowering you here.
Okay. Let's slide it on through. It's in. All right, Dan?
Number 41.
That didn't make my top 15, but it was on my top 20.
Okay, so I'll slide that
We can
one.
conversation that one
Yep.
because that one, there's just so much that came through for top 15.
Yeah.
I ended up, I think, with about 25.
Let me just say something. I do this every week.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, sometimes it's bands, that I'm not as familiar with, so it's not as hard.
Yep.
But a lot of times it's bands that I've been listening to for 20 years.
Yep.
And, oof, that gets hard. Let's see. Dan played number 41. So James, you are up.
Let's get some onto the actual list. Ants Marching.
Oh, you guys both have that one.
Yes.
And
What was it?
Ants Marching.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, and then this is one. I don't necessarily disagree, but I feel like that probably was the breakout, and it's got that iconic open.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the first song you think about when you think about Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an iconic tune. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to put it in a convo, or do you want to put it on through?
I'm done.
I feel like you should put it through, but
Yeah,
Let's
put it
on
through.
through.
Make it happen.
There we go. We got 3 in. All right. And Plumber, you are up.
how about the Tripping Billies?
Because of Trippin' Billies. I know so many of these songs.
Throw it in the conversation because, again, that's in my top 20 because live, that song is so good.
Yeah, and that's why, probably, I'm not going to lie, probably half of these songs that I'm picking, if you listen to the studio version, I can't get into it. And that's why in high school, I just wasn't that much into DMB. Once I went to them live and you hear it live, and it's like, even if it's only a 4 or 5 minute song, in the amphitheater, it's just incredible. You're like, wow, this is so much better live
Oh,
versus
yeah.
the studio. You hear it in the studio, you're like, okay. It's like the Crash. You hear a Crash on the studio, everybody loves it. For me, I was like, okay, whatever, it's Crash. But whenever you hear it live, it's like, wow, I appreciate the music so much more.
Oh. So,
And that's how number 41 is to me.
Yep.
It's a slower song, but whenever he plays it for like 10 minutes and he really gets into it, frickin' Boyd Tinsley, man, whenever he rocks out for like 5 minutes, who else is going to break out with a violin for 5 minutes? I'm sure there's a couple different people out in the world, but you don't know them.
yeah.
So for me, that's what it was.
Not unless it's
so.
Lindsey Sterling. Don't die, Justin.
Oh,
I'm
God,
killing him here in
I'm-
studio.
I'm dying. I'm dying a slow death. All right, James, it is your play, good sir.
I'll get another one pushed through Satellite.
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 Again, that was... Wait, where the hell? I know I added that. I know I had that on here. Where is it?
I recognize it, but I can't place it. I know it's not on my top 15, but I'm sure
It
I've
is.
heard it.
Those are the two that we had that I know we had together. Or I
Yeah,
thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on year 12. I'm
Oh
pretty
no, it wasn't.
sure. Oh.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. Well, shoot me.
All right. So
I could have sworn Satellite was on there. Should we play a clip for that one? Because you'll know it as soon as as soon as you get that going.
Yeah, and I know it. I can't place it though.
All right, let me find it on here. I thought I had it over here. Where the hell is it?
Justin's misplacing all of our satellites. The government's going to come for him.
Uh-oh. Just go here.
Good jobs, Justin's.
One
One
for
for
here.
here.
One for here.
Dude, I was doing that the other day at work.
Okay, so instead of leaving James out in the cold,
Thanks.
well, it's an inside. You were talking about inside jokes earlier,
Yeah.
and that's all me and Plumber do is inside jokes.
That's the best form of friendship.
This is one of the most rare conversations we've ever had, where it's like actually a real one.
So kind of like me and Corey when we're not in studio.
Yeah.
I would come down to Hampton for the weekend, and if you didn't hang out with me and Justin for 24/7, if you left for an hour, you'd be lost, and you wouldn't want to even hang out with us for the rest of the weekend because it would be the inside joke repeated times 100,000, and you were like, "You guys are stupid. We're leaving."
Yep. Oh, but I mean, most people tried not to miss hanging out with us, though.
Right, exactly. We were good people to hang out with.
So, I mean, it worked. The ploy worked, except for Menage Davenport. That never worked. People hated that one.
That sounds tennis-ish.
You mean number 44?
Yeah. Menage Davenport, number 32 for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. And we would do that for like 20 straight minutes. Okay, so
I can appreciate this as a sports guy.
yeah. All right, so here's a little bit from Satellite. Might have some like crowd cheering. I'm going for the live version. This is live from Rio.
Oh, snap.
They can't pop me for crowd cheering, right? That could come from anywhere.
Woo!
A little slow open here.
That's the other thing with DMB is sometimes it takes them a minute to actually get to the freaking song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, whenever I was picking these songs and I was going to the live version, I would automatically skip the first minute or two just so I could figure out
Same.
what it was.
You gotta get there, buddy. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Just go to YouTube, damn it. There we go.
Oh, this is where it's recognizable. It's crazy how many of these songs I've actually heard.
I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize how many songs they've actually heard too.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you catch that, Dan? Was that good for you?
I was actually going to pull it up on my YouTube on my computer real quick because I can't hear any of that stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, keep going. And I can kind of, go back to it.
Well, I'm gonna get in. How about this? You play your next song, Dan, and while James is playing his next song, you listen to that. So, what's your next song?
I would say. I already picked number 41. Let's do. Did anyone pick Where Are You Going?
See, again, I swear, you did. There it is.
Yeah, we've already gone over that one. I think I got that one.
Oh, I've got it twice. Yeah, that one's actually already in.
Okay. So, I'm glad we agree with that one.
Yeah, that was the first one I think that we put in.
Yep. Well, Crash Into
What
Me.
about Stay? Did we do Stay?
No, not yet.
It's on my top 20. It's a conversation piece.
Conversation piece. All right. So, give a listen to Satellite.
Yeah,
James.
I'm listening to it right now real quick.
All right, and James, it is your turn, sir.
Space Between. The space
space
between the bullets in our firefights.
Again,
is-
it's crazy how many of these songs I know.
Where are we hiding,
Satellite.
waiting
Okay.
for...
It's one of his slower songs, but it's a decent song.
Do you want to put it in the convo for later, or because now we only have 7 spots, so that's got to be something you got to start thinking about.
I don't know if I can put it in my top 10. I mean, to me, if I'm listening to it, I'd be like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Aw. Okay, that's his no.
That's his nice way of saying no. All right, so James played Space Between, which I believe both of you had.
Yeah.
Dan has
Yes.
a live version. All right, so you guys, do you guys feel strongly enough about it to put it on through, or do you want to just keep it around for later?
Definitely.
All right,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
move it on in. All right, Plumber, it is your turn, sir.
Stay?
That one's already in the combo for later.
Oh, okay. So how about, did we say, I think you guys said no to Bartender, right?
No,
we
we
haven't
have
played
not.
that yet.
That's on my list as well.
Yeah. So you guys both have Bartender.
Yep.
Again, is that one you guys feel strong enough about to put on through? This is definitely a song people need to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great song.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
I mean, especially the live one, he just really goes into it. And
Yeah.
All right,
He gets after it live on Bartender. So, yeah, that's another one.
1, 2, 3. We've got 5 in. Okay, so again, keep that in mind as we're getting through here. James, it is your turn, sir.
When the World Ends.
I feel like you guys both had that one too, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That's his number 8. Or at least the list he provided.
Do you want to soldier that one on through, or keep it for the conversation, Plumber?
I say send it on through.
All right, this conversation is going to be fun because you guys are going to have a lot.
I was going to
axe.
say, how many do we have in the conversation side?
Let's see. So you've
7?
6 are in.
Yes.
1, 2. Oh, scroll up. 1. Let's go down here.
Act like you've worked a computer before, Justin.
Hey.
It's not like he does this 4 days a week.
There's 9 already.
9 in the conversation piece?
Yep.
And we've got 4 slots? God.
Yep.
Bless
and
America.
there's still some to play that you guys haven't
Gross.
played yet. So, let's see. Was that your play? When the World Ends, right? So now it's Dan's
Yeah,
Dan's
Dan.
play.
I did it.
I did it.
You think I've gone too far. Now, that's actually one of the ones where I like when he goes hard, Dave.
Yeah.
But I have that on my list.
I
That
was expecting you to say no because if you didn't like the other one, he really gets into it here too.
Yeah, it's something about that other one that just every time I hear it, I skip it.
Yeah.
But I Did It is definitely, because it's from the Everyday album. That is I've got like I think eight songs from the Everyday
You
album
did have
on
a lot
this
from
song.
that, yeah. And I did it as track 1 too.
Yep.
So-
So it comes in there. It hits you hard. Hits you heavy. Definitely because it was Under the Table and Dreaming, Crash, and then Every Day came out in '99, and that was the one that my mom and I listened to the most.
Right.
And that's the one that actually got me through my freshman year in college.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I did it just if I needed something to study to or to like do a quiz or something through. That was the song.
All right. So am I pushing I Did It through?
I'll push it.
Alrighty.
How many slots do we have left?
3 now on the actual top 10 list.
Yep. So
Okay.
we're up to 7,
Okay.
and it looks like we're dwindling down to the last couple here. James.
How many more plays are we gonna go? 1, 2, probably 2.
Yeah. You know what? It looks like there's
I think we should end it if we have 9 on the table.
yeah. Unless well, how about take a look at what you have left and see if
Yep.
there's ones that need to be in this conversation.
For me, there are 2 that need to be in the conversation. Let me go back and look at your list real quick, Dan. For me, the 2 that need to be are Every Day and If I Had It All.
All right.
Those are both off the Everyday album.
How do you feel about it, Plumber?
What was the second one? Everyday and what?
If I Had It All. If I Had It All.
I have
Well, they're not ringing a
to
bell.
look it up real quick.
Hmm.
I know it wasn't on my list.
Well,
Nope.
Yeah. If we have to do this much thinking about it. At this point, we should probably just go ahead and move on. We've got 9. All right, so let me go through the ones that you guys have put through.
Yes.
Crash Into Me.
Yep.
Where Are You Going? I Did It. Bartender, When the World Ends, Ants Marching, and The Space Between. So
That's what's on the table, or that's the top 7 so far?
those are the ones that are already in. Now, I mean, if something comes up and we're like, well, these ones are better, and let's get one out, we can do that. Those are the 7 you have already put through. So we have 3 spots, 9 songs, and we'll start right here at the top. Jimmy Thing. Now, this was on James's list, not Dan's, but Dan was agreeable on it. So,
Can we get a rundown of the
All
of
of
the
them?
9? Yeah.
all right.
Of
So we
them.
have Jimmy Thing, All Along the Watchtower, Stay, Gray Street, Grace is Gone, number 41, Crush, What Would You Say, and Tripping Billies.
That's hard.
Yeah,
That is hard as shit.
you only have 3 left.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Well, okay, so let's think about this first. Of the 7 that are in, are there 7? Is there any of those that shouldn't be there?
Well, okay, give me the 7 again.
All right, let's see. Crash Into
I'm
Me.
just gonna whenever you do it, say it. Give me like 3 seconds to write it real quick so
Okay.
I can see what I'm looking at.
All right, Crash Into Me.
Okay.
Where Are You Going?
Okay.
I Did It.
Okay.
Bartender.
Okay.
When the World Ends.
Okay.
Ants Marching.
Yep.
And The Space Between.
Okay.
So, do either of you feel like any of those don't belong in the conversation, and they just kind of got through?
I guess for me, it's going to depend what the top 10 list comes down to.
Okay.
And if the top 10 list comes down to a song that I feel needs to be in there, then I'll X one out.
Okay. So let me go over the 9 that are left.
Yeah.
Jimmy Thing. All Along the Watchtower. Stay. Gray Street. Grace is Gone. Number 41. Crush. What Would You Say? Tripping Millies. Now, the only stink I'm going to put on this, being the guy who's not into the band, Crush was one that had my attention. So just putting that out there.
And that was the one that we played the little clip from, right?
No, we did a
Or
clip.
was that Gray
Gray
Street?
Street. Gray Street was the one we played a clip from.
Fuck.
So, well, let's do this. Is there any that don't need to be in this conversation anymore?
Jimmy
Any-
Thing for me.
Jimmy Thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that was.
Okay, I agree with that.
All right. So let's get that out. So now we're down to 8, with 3 spots remaining.
Well, I'm going to forever push for All Along the Watchtower. I mean, that's my number 1. I mean, if you listen to it live, man, it's incredible. I mean, that's my only defense I'm going to be able to come up with. I mean, for me, granted, it's a remake of 2 other different artists, but I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to take another one out there if we feel that we don't have enough slots left either. For me, I would even take Bartender out to make spot for another one if we needed to. And Bartender is a great song, but I'm just throwing that out there. If we get to the end of it and we're fighting for number 10, 11,
Yeah.
then we could maybe push one out.
So let's do this. We'll keep All Along the Watchtower around for right now.
In the conversation.
Yeah. So let's take a look at these other ones and see if.
What about Cut and Stay, Dan? How would you feel about that? Cut and Stay?
Cut and Stay?
Yeah, that was one of the ones that it originally, when I came upon it, it was on my top 10 list, and then it was on my top 15 list, and then it got pushed down into my top 20 top 25.
Get this.
I mean, we can take off discussion. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so we'll move Stay out.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Next point. I'm trying to think of ones that were on one and not the other's lists. 41 was on Dan's, but not
Damn.
on James. But James agreed to put it through on the conversation. So, do we think 41 is strong enough? Do you need some of 41?
I mean, it's a slower song, but again, live, it's amazing for me. It has a lot of, different meaning and background for me. So, for me, I love this song, but again, it's a slower song. So,
Again, we got to think about somebody who's not into Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
right, and that's what I'm, also considering because, for me, I'm an upbeat person. I need the songs to stay upbeat if I'm going to get into it.
Okay.
That's why I'm kind of looking at the list, and I'd rather go Tripping Billies over number 41.
All right, so shall we pull 41 then?
Just save it for later.
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
Because I'm just listening to it again, and still, no matter how slow it is, I mean, it's slow for the beginning, but I'd be even willing to say it's number 10. But for me, it's number probably 2 or 3. But let's just put it to the end.
All right, so how about what would you say? That's the one I keep looking at. That was a single. I could see where people might be aggravated with that and have probably actually already heard it. How do we feel about
For which one?
What would you say?
Oh, I'd be willing to, take it out.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it has. It's not as lyrically deep. It's not. It doesn't have the depth of musicianship. I think that one's just kind of a fun, upbeat, goofy song.
And it's got the personal attachment for you.
For me, it's got the personal attachment, but if I'm looking at it objectively,
Yeah.
then I think that'll be one that it's like, all right, everybody's heard that on radio.
Yeah.
Let's find something different to kind of push. So yeah, I'm willing to pull that
it's
one.
a great song instrumentally. The saxophone, you have the violin. I mean, if you see it live, again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but live, man, they just go all out with this one. I mean, I feel like it's one of their better songs that they feel like they like, and they just rock out to it. But, I mean, I'm willing to take it off. I mean, it's a great song, but everybody knows it.
Yeah. Let's scratch it.
All right, so now we're down to 6. This is getting slightly more manageable. I'm going to go over these 6 real quick. Again, if there, if there's anything that you feel like just does not belong in this conversation, just speak up. All Along the Watchtower, Gray Street, Grace is Gone, number 41, Crush, and Tripping Billies.
I'm having trouble. Can we play a little bit of Crush, because like right now where I'm sitting, I'm going All Along the Watchtower, Grace is Gone, and then I'm trying to choose between Tripping Billies and Gray Street.
All right, let's get a little bit of Crush here. Of course.
Oh, this song.
Yeah.
Feeling high. Oh.
I know, I can't part with it, so we'll have to push it to later.
Oh, but this song,
15-minute song.
that song, God bless America. I don't know how I didn't have that on my list. That should have ended up on my list. God, what am I doing, James? Get with it. All right, so now I'm torn between 4, and we've got, 2 slots?
Let's see. I think we still have 3. Nothing's been
3.
pushed through. So.
All right, so fuck me. I'll throw you one here, Dan. Gray Street, Crush, Grace is Gone, and then we swap out Bartender with All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so we're gonna pull Bartender.
I mean, it's a great song, but I'll take All Along the Watchtower over any of them, so that's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and so Gray Street, Grace is Gone, and Crush.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna run it down and see how we feel about it. Crash Into Me, Where Are You Going, Gray Street, Grace is Gone, Crush, All Along the Watchtower, I Did It, When the World Ends, Ants Marching, The Space Between.
Yeah. And unfortunately, number 41 and Tripping Billies are kind of getting left off of that, but
Well, they were the last two standing.
yeah,
So,
it's just one of those. There's Gray Street and Crush, and I can't believe I couldn't recognize either of them from the name, but both of those are iconic Dave Matthews songs from his later stuff, 2003 onward, and it's kind of it kind of shows how he evolved, and him and the band evolved from Under the Table and Dreaming and Crash, their first two albums. They went through a very different phase with Every Day, and then they started getting into the soul-heavy stuff.
yeah.
You know, not soul as in soul music, but soul, like
it has
how
soul.
you feel
Yeah.
it. It has soul. So that started getting into more people and situations. Especially, I think that's also post 9/11 stuff as well. So, and he had a little bit of interesting writing period
Yeah.
post 9/11.
So, we gotta. It's already been an hour, gents.
I know. That's why I was kind of like, crap, what do we do?
Yeah, we got to start wrapping here. So, just your final thoughts on Dave Matthews Band. Anything that you think anybody who's never checked them out, anything that they need to know before they hopefully listen to this list that we came up with. James, go ahead and start.
For me, it's if you are any kind of fan of music, he'll hit you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really what genre you're about. If you're looking for rock, if you're looking for jam, if you're looking for a little bit of heavy stuff, he's got it. If you're looking for lyrical stuff, if you're looking for hip hop, R&B, and rap influences, he's got the lyrics to match. And then just, again, the overall musicianship. The fact that they are literally a band.
Yeah.
And they can, it's a transformative experience whenever you get to see them live. And then it helps you appreciate the music in studio on the CD that much more.
Nice. Dan, final thoughts on Dave Matthews Band.
I mean, honestly, he pretty much covered it. Just whenever you listen to it, again, I hate to be redundant, but listen to it live and really listen to the words, and you really, versus just listening to the musical instruments, which are incredible. Make sure you listen to the lyrics because he always has some great message, or he's talking about something at the end of the song, or if you even read the lyrics, like, wow, I had no idea that that's what the song was about.
Yep.
And you really get to find out who he is, and who he's really writing it for. I think, these could be, obviously personal experiences for them and the band, but, really listen to the lyrics and, whenever I read the lyrics, if you read it versus just listening to it too, you really get to see what he's talking about here. Like, wow, I didn't know he could come up with those kind of lyrics, or, just anything along those lines. And also, whatever we had for the top 15 people, listen to the top 15, because the 5 that got X'd out were also just as incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think that's all I have to say.
All right. So, we're taking it on home here. Dan, are you coming down in a couple weeks or no? Because there was talks of you coming down in September.
There were, and I think it's gonna have to be pushed back a little. Just things got kind of crazy with work.
No.
Those who don't know, I work for Verizon, and the iPhone 7 is coming out
I'm sorry.
last week and this weekend. So it's just, I'm relentless at work. It's been nonstop. I mean, I'm working. I'll literally set my alarm for 3:30 in the morning.
Good times.
Just to get there and make sure it's okay, and I'll be there till 10 o'clock at night sometimes.
Gross.
So as soon as this iPhone comes out, I mean, I can commit, a weekend for sure.
So we were thinking about doing All Day You Drunks 2 in October.
You didn't tell me about
man.
this.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
breaking
Well,
development.
let me know the weekend. I'll be sure to come down.
Okay.
'Cause September is almost booked. I mean, I'm free sometimes, and I'm not even guaranteed free. But October, I have nothing slated on the list right now. So if you let me know a weekend, I'll make sure
Nice.
to come down.
All right, so we'll figure that out.
All Day You Drunks.
Plumber, thank you so much for calling, man. I appreciate it. And check out the Deprogrammed page on the Facebook machine and see if there's any other bands you want to call in and talk about.
Okay, well, do me a favor. Send me that link or whatever you're talking about. Just send it to me, and I'll take a look.
Will do, man. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye.
And there he goes, Dan Plummer on the, I don't know, I need to come up with a cool thing for our hotline.
DP?
A cool name. Huh?
DP.
Double penetration? That's weird, man.
I mean, he is Plumber.
So, all right. So here's the other lame stuff. I have to repeat it here because it's the end of the show.
Lame-o.
Patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. Look, man. We want to be listener supported. To us, that's like of utmost importance. We're making the big switch to a nonprofit organization here in the coming months. We've got a lot of paperwork to fill out and a lot of stuff that we need to do. We'd like to have more people on board before we actually make the actual leap. We're making the leap. It's happening. Just like last year on All Day You Drunks, we said we're going to make a community station. Here we are a year later. We did it. We've got a long way to go. We've got some new shows coming to the station. Shows are growing pretty much every week. There's more things coming down the pike. It's really an exciting time. And it would be awesome to have more of you on board with us. And you know what? Again, we've offered the invite. Come hang out at the studio with us while we're doing the shows. It'd be really neat to do it with like a live studio audience, I think.
Yeah, especially for
the bets.
The bets.
Yeah. I feel like more people should be seeing you drink shots of hot sauce.
Oh, if you thought that was bad, just wait until Thursday. I'm going to plug myself here a little bit.
Yeah.
Thursday night, 10 to midnight. Corey and myself, we do Piss Till Midnight. It's politically incorrect sports talk. So Piss Till Midnight, Facebook.com/Piss Till Midnight. On Twitter and Instagram at Real Pissed. That's PIST Sports. Pretty much what Corey and I have devolved into is now that college football, NFL, and English Premier League soccer is running about, we are betting each week on the outcomes of all the games, and we are doing hilarious and horrible things to ourselves. I chugged hot sauce didn't chug it. I took shots of hot sauce last week.
Regrettable.
Corey's eaten too many mini donuts in a 15-minute setting.
Yep.
I chugged Crystal Pepsi. And this week, for those who did not catch Pistol Midnight last Thursday, the bet was body hair waxing. So college is one strip of leg hair on the left leg. EPL was strip of hair on the right leg. And then loser of the NFL was armpits. I will not divulge who lost that one.
Who gets what?
So you guys have to check out Pistol Midnight to figure out who gets the most pain. But yeah, other than that, and we do general sports talk. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, Corey's an Eagles fan, huge NFL, Hokies for myself, Penn State for Corey. So we talk about everything. We get loosey-goosey. We hate Tommy Lauren and
That's
love our
true.
supporters.
Yeah. So make sure you turn into that. Next week, we're going to be talking about Faith No More. It's going to be a discovery for me. So
Interesting.
yeah, dude. They've been on the periph for a good decade.
Right.
And I just never bothered.
I actually think this is the first time I've ever heard their name. So
Really? Well, I know you've heard at least one Faith No More song.
probably.
It's called Epic. You
can we play a clip?
want it all, but
Oh,
you can't have it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's
yeah.
that band.
That's Faith No. Oh God.
That's Faith No More. And again, they've been on the periph forever. And Jenny and Taylor have been wanting to talk about them. And actually, it's a discovery from a few months back, I guess, ish for Jenny. And she liked them so much. She's like, Justin, you got to get in on this. And you know what? I have a program where that's exactly what I do.
That's what we do.
So Deprogrammed next week. Make sure you tune in at 10 p.m. We're going to be talking Faith No More. In the meantime, Dave Matthews Band. Learn them and love them, people. See you next week.
They're awesome.
Have a good one. I like buttons when they actually play.